Oh, we're on? Okay. Well, Buddy is just fixated on the jar. See him looking at the jar? Follow the jar. We can hypnotize these dogs. Yes. And there's a couple for you and a couple for you. Good morning. People are starting to tune in, I think. Good morning, Unity of Delaware. Regular Sunday service time. And good morning, everybody else who's joining us from wherever you are. So glad you're joining in. We got a beautiful day today. Green and beautiful out here and not too hot. And so we're really, really, really pleased. And Buddy and Bella are particularly pleased today. I don't know whether you can see their faces. They're so focused on the treats. But some of their best friends are here today, and ours too. This is the first time today we're having a musical guest like we used to quite regularly at church. Figured out how to do it with the camera and giving each other space and all. And we're just really thrilled that Avalon 9 is here with us today to do a few songs. Linda Blaine and Dave Clutter, and they are BHFs for Buddy and Bella, best human friends. So they're really pleased today too. So we're really excited. They're going to start us out with a song. I think it's a Three Dog Night song. It's one of my favorites that they do, and you're going to love it. So please welcome Avalon 9.
Good morning. Wash away my troubles, wash away my pain, with the rain and Shambhala. Wash away my sorrow, wash away my shame, with the rain and Shambhala. Come on, sing. Everyone is kind on the road to Shambhala. Everyone is lucky, everyone is so kind on the road to Shambhala. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Should light shine in the halls of Shambhala? How does your light shine in the halls of Shambhala? I could tell my sister by the flowers in her eyes on the road to Shambhala. I could tell my brother by the flowers in his eyes on the road to Shambhala. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, light shine in the halls of Shambhala. How does your light shine in the halls of Shambhala? Tell me, how does your light shine in the halls of Shambhala? Tell me, how does your light shine in the halls of Shambhala?
Thank you guys so much. I love that song. Wonderful. Well, we'll have a couple more songs from them before our time together is up today. So wanted to share some prayer requests, and we'll have a have an opening prayer here in a moment. I'll invite Joe to come over and join me too. Some people are sending in some prayer requests, and I do appreciate that. And please do that at any time. Prayer request tab at the top of the UnityDelawareOhio.org site, and it can just be kept in confidence, or it can be shared either here on Sunday or with our online prayer group. If you just request that, we have a group of, I don't know, 30, 40 folks who will just hold it in prayer. I send it out an email prayer, and people just hold it in prayer with whoever requests it. So I have a few prayer requests. We're holding Michaela in prayer. Tracy sent that in for healing from a significant surgery she had on her elbow. We see that recovery going well and her elbow being restored to wholeness. Dorothy Yost sent in a request for prayer for a friend Janet, her niece, who's dealing with the COVID virus, and we lift her up in prayer for healing. And our good friend Eddie Watkins Jr., who's going to be doing the service next week, he's got a knee issue. We saw on Facebook pretty significant challenge there, and we see that healing up and a complete recovery on that knee. And of course, we are all concerned about just peace and order throughout our country and throughout the land, throughout the world, and a ceasing of violence and a clearing of minds and a deepening of love in our hearts and a deeper recognition of our oneness. Joe located this lovely prayer Marianne Williamson put out. I just shared it this morning. I thought I'd just share it with you before we have a prayer together. Dear God, be with us in this moment of our turmoil. Protect the lovers and heal the haters. Overshadow the country with the spirit of your good. Lead us through these waters, for they are rough and we are frightened. Excuse me. Bless our precious world. Amen.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Let's take that into prayer a moment. We feel our pain and we let it flow through us. We feel our grief and we share it with one another. We open our hearts to God's deep comfort and peace. We let it flow through us, everyone. All those grieving this morning. All those angry, all those frightened, all those anxious, all those who are ill or fearful of being ill, all those who are recovering. We see God filling us with that love and that light and that powerful renewing energy that is greater than any challenge we might face. We see God doing a powerful, transformative work in our midst, leading us on the path to peace and oneness and loving kindness. Thank you, God, for your unfailing power and presence at work within each one of us, in our lives and in our world. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to do a little prayer song that really is in that same spirit. It's based on a Buddhist prayer for loving kindness, for spreading that in the world. Karen Drucker put it together. It's a sweet little chant. So I hope you'll join me in it. We're going to do it at you and then I, kind of claiming this loving kindness and peace for ourselves. May you be filled with loving kindness. People everywhere, living beings everywhere. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. Join me in that, wherever you are. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease, and may you be happy. Let's make that personal. May I be filled. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy. Let's do that once more quietly. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be peaceful as always, we take a risk being outdoors, but it's one we joyfully take. It's so good to be outside, and I think it's good for us to be outside. I've been hearing a lot of suggestions to people, get out more. The fresh air is good, the space is good, it's healing for us. So we're delighted, and we're going to move into another song by our good friends Linda and Dave, Avalon 9. I think it's a Neil Young song they're going to do for you, but I'll let you introduce it if you want. Bella's going to join in, apparently.
Remember your part, Bella. It's gonna take a lot of love to change the way things are. It's gonna take a lot of love. We won't get too far. So if you look in my direction and we don't see eye to eye, my heart needs protection, and so do I. It's gonna take a lot of love to get us through. It's gonna take a lot of love, make it work out right. So if you're out there waiting, I hope you show up soon. 'Cause my heart needs relating, not solitude. It's gonna take a lot of love to change the way things are. It's gonna take a lot of love, but we won't get too far. And I know you're out there waiting. I know you'll show up soon. 'Cause our hearts need relating, not solitude. Hey.
Lot of Love. Lot of Love by Neil Young. That's a great song. Great song. Love that. Thank you. Well, we had a little mowing kick up, but I think we'll hear it okay. With the microphone right here and a little windscreen on it, I think we'll be all right. And if you can't hear us for some reason and need me to speak up, send along a comment. But we're just going to carry on and hope for the best. It's such a beautiful day. Everybody wants to be outside, and I sure do understand that. I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to have enough right now. I find it kind of interesting. This is a time where I think we're making a lot of discoveries about what we really need and maybe what we don't need. Sometimes you discover you have enough and you didn't really even know you had enough, because our culture is a little bit addicted to more, if you know what I mean. Moreness, always needing more. Something we crave, something we have to have, something we're lacking. It's almost kind of an addiction in our our culture and our advertising and our media and all, they kind of press us to want more, or suggest we don't have enough, or even suggest we aren't ourselves enough, that we need to be better or change ourselves in some way. We need more. Moreness is something we are taught a lot about. We aren't taught very much about enoughness, that we are enough as we are, that we have enough. And I think that's something that we can practice, and it's worth pursuing, because it's wonderful to be free of that slavery to moreness. Gotta have more. And I think it's one of the things we're discovering a little bit right now, don't you? That there are things that we thought we needed that maybe we didn't need. We didn't need to do all the shopping we did. We didn't need all the stuff we had. We have more in our cupboards than we realized, more in our freezers. We can do more in our kitchens than we thought. We can do more in our days than we realized without a lot of extras and trappings and so on. So how do we experience that feeling of having enough, in fact maybe more than enough? I think of it as the abundance of enough. I think there's like three pillars. There are things that come up again and again in churches on Sunday mornings, and in spiritual teachers and their writings and so on. The three pillars of enoughness: simplicity, presence, and gratitude. Simplicity, presence, and gratitude. I think I come back to these pillars again and again, and they're all things we can work on if we want to experience a greater sense of having enough, having all that we need, even in this time of seeming deprivation. So first pillar, that to simplify. I think there's a lot of this going on right now. Kind of spontaneously, we're examining, we're reflecting on our lives, kind of reducing what we don't need, what isn't really nourishing to us, so that we can enjoy more and focus more on what we do need, on what we have. Dogs are canine audio eruption, but all is well. They love to inform us of everything going on the street. So this simplify, Henry David Thoreau, one of my favorite writers in my grad school days, he said, simplify, simplify, simplify. Our lives are frittered away by details. And I think that's something we're maybe making some discoveries about. There's a lot of details maybe we didn't need so much. And that's something that's a great blessing. I see a lot of people taking pleasure in simple things right now. We watched a program about an ER doctor in New York City, of course, who works so hard in the ERs all day, and the sickness he sees and the trauma. And he goes home at night and makes bread. Makes these wonderful, beautiful loaves of bread, and it's very centering. Such a simple thing, bread. People are making a lot of bread right now, I think, and rediscovering the joy and the enoughness of simple things like that. There's a lot of gardening going on right now, and people really celebrating the simplicity of growing something, of starting a vegetable garden and watching something grow. There's a friend of mine who's cultivating strawberries in a new way, and every day there's an excitement of watching the strawberries are coming up. There's a lot of people looking forward to those homegrown tomatoes that are going to be coming up soon. Nothing like the abundance of a simple homegrown ripe tomato. We had a friend named Rose who she loved homegrown tomatoes so much she bit into them like apples, just like apples. And that's a simple pleasure that's rich with abundance. To simplify, to really focus in on something simple and beautiful like that. Second pillar is presence, being present. I think of Thich Nhat Hanh as like the master expert on this, Buddhist teacher. He's got, in his books he talks about, whatever you're doing, do it with your fullness. If you're drinking tea, drink your tea. And it's like really be where you are, be present to it, enjoy it fully with your mind and heart. There's a great source of enoughness in that. Really, if you're barking, bark full throttle. Let it out, Go with it. Be in the moment. Dogs don't have any problem with it. They call it mindfulness in Buddhism, this being very present. But in fact, I don't think it has much to do with any mental process. it's more a matter of senses, of physicality, of just really absorbing something. So often we kind of are en route, we take things for granted, and we're not fully in the present experiencing the richness of it. I was remembering of how I used to go camping, roughing it kind of camping in younger years. It's been a while since I slept on the ground in a sleeping bag, but I remember it, and we're in a tent. And remember what a shower felt like after like a 3-day camping trip, you know? And then you come back and you take a shower. It's like a miracle. Warm water pouring all over you. It's just fabulous, a shower. That's really being fully present to something. Then you really experience it. I was thinking, again, in my grad school days, I ate very poorly, I must admit, and all kinds of things that, you know, pizzas and boxed things and frozen things and so on. But I remember having a really rough day one day. My car was towed on campus. I don't know whether it's still like that, but it was all kinds of places with very tricky signs. You didn't know where you could park. And my car got towed one day while I was in class in grad school at OSU. And I had to go down to the police station. I had to pay a fine. Then I had to head out to an impound lot somewhere on South High Street. Has this ever happened to anybody else out there? By the time I got home, and I had a friend helping me out, by the time I got home, it was like 11:30 at night. I was exhausted and broke and hungry, and I had a box of that was like 19 cents at the time, macaroni and cheese, the kind that came in the boxes. Does anyone remember them? Linda and Dave are shaking their head. They know too. It was the best thing I had ever tasted in my life. Hungry, fully present to that. I think we've all had an experience of something like that. When you're really present to it and paying attention to it and really fully experiencing it, it's so much richer. Spring is a fabulous time to be practicing our skills of being present, as everything is coming out. Flowers, the birds, the insects, the dragonflies. It'll be lightning bug season soon. What a delight that is. June is their big time, their big show. Let's get out and really see them this year, really soak it up, really look. Makes me think of the books I learned to read on. Maybe some of you did too, the Dick and Jane books. Look, Jane, look, Dick. You know, we need to do that. Really be present and soak it up. So that's the second pillar, simplicity, presence, and the third one is gratefulness. And that's one we can never practice enough. And I know I'm preaching to the choir with so many of you. It's a daily practice for a lot of people. And the guru on that is David Stendhal Rast. He's got a website called gratefulness.org. If you're ever depressed and need a cheer up, go to that website, and there's all these stories and articles and reasons to be grateful. His primary point he makes again and again is that it isn't happiness that makes us grateful. It's gratefulness that makes us happy. There's a fullness that comes, that sense of enoughness, whenever we really tap into what we're grateful for. And moment by moment, day by day, there is something to be grateful for. No matter what our circumstances are, some unexpected kindness that came your way, some beautiful flower you saw, a fresh spring rain and the smell that came in your windows, whatever it might be, the more we feel our gratefulness, the more we experience that abundance of enoughness. I'm particularly grateful for all the blessings of spring and in nature, but I'm also really grateful right now for the delightful ways human creativity is showing up all around us right now. I was really delighted by a man in Brisbane, Australia. Some of you might have caught this story. He's an artist, 65-year-old artist in Brisbane. He does big works, and he wanted to cheer people up. He realized people in the midst of the pandemic, people were getting depressed and anxious, and he wanted to do a work that would cheer people up. So he created this 15-foot tall replica of a laughing kookaburra bird. I don't know whether you know what a kookaburra bird is, but it makes really wild laughing sounds. It's the kind of birds you'd hear in the jungle on Raiders of the Lost Ark, something like whoo, 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 ha, 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 ha. You know the sound I'm talking about in the jungles, the kookaburra. Well, it's really kind of an Australian icon, I guess. And he created this big 15-foot replica of this big colorful, it's like steel framework and bamboo and I don't know what all is on it. It's huge. And it's got he uses a car battery to make the beak move and to make the sound system create the laughing sound of the kookaburra. And he hauls it around and drives it around the block in Brisbane. There's some people walking by with a couple little dogs, so that's big excitement. And the laugh of the kookaburra is infectious, so people are laughing everywhere he takes this huge bird. And he plans road trips with it. He's going to go farther afield with his laughing kookaburra. And I just think there's a YouTube video of it. If you have not seen it, look for Laughing Kookaburra, or the artist's name is Deliri, D-A-L-L-I-R-I, in Australia. And you'll be laughing as you watch this kookaburra bird being pulled around the block. It's just delightful. And I think that's something to really give thanks for, be grateful for and delighted with in this time, where there's a feeling of worry and of being deprived. But there's so much we can take in and receive with gratitude and being present and enjoying the really simple pleasures of life. We're so blessed in so many ways. So let's just close our eyes for just a moment and focus on that sense of having enough, just as we are and with what we have, that we realizing our blessings, realizing how much we have to be grateful for. Our lives are full, our hearts are full. We are blessed. We have enough. In this moment, we have enough. We are enough. We have an abundance of enoughness, enough to share with others. So we feel that fully in this moment, and we'll practice feeling it more and more through the days ahead. God blesses us richly, and we are grateful. And so it is. Man, okay. Well, I want to just mention a few little announcements, and then we're going to have another great little song. One of my favorites that Linda and Dave do. And Joe, you could come over anytime too, or well, maybe not. We'll wait. We'll wait till you move the camera to them. The songs we sang today, Joe likes to put the song titles and songwriters in the comments section so that you can look those up if you want to, listen to them later. Avalon 9, maybe have a CD out there somewhere that people can access, or?
We just, no.
No, you have to catch them in person when things ease up here. Linda co-wrote that song "Uncertain Times," though, that you've got on iCloud, or where is it? SoundCloud? On SoundCloud.
It's on iTunes too.
It's on iTunes too. Joe and Linda and Dave kind of collaborated on that tune. You could catch that. Next Sunday, we're really excited. Joe and I are going to just be tuning in like you guys, and our good friend Eddie Watkins Jr. And Mary Ann Gennaro from Florida are going to do the Facebook Live service next week. You'll be tuning in the same way. Facebook Live, you go to Facebook and the Unity Church of Delaware Facebook page as always, and they're going to be doing the inspiring message and music. Their title is "I Am the Place Where God Shows Up," which of course is the title of one of Eddie's most wonderful songs, and they're going to explore the rich meaning of that song and what it means to be the place where God shows up. So tune in next week. They're going to be our special guests, and we're really thrilled that they're going to be joining us from Florida. We, as always, are eager to receive your prayer requests. Send them in at any time. The prayer requests tab at the top of our Unity of Delaware website, unitydelawareohio.org. And we are so grateful for your donations that you've been sending in via PayPal or by checks to the church, P.O. 593 in Delaware. We're so grateful for your support. It means so much to us during this time. We have so much to be grateful for. One other announcement, I know the Unity Women's Group is going to be meeting via Zoom this Wednesday, June 3rd. Special program presentation by Dr. Michelle Harkey this Wednesday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. She's going to lead a discussion, presentation on "Let Peace Begin With Me During This Pandemic." I love that. Dr. Michelle Harkey is an expert on the work of Byron Katie, and and emotional resilience and things like that. I think it'll be a wonderful a discussion group. So if you want to participate in that, newcomers are always welcome. Contact Marianne Jakes. She'll put her contact number, text number, or email in the comments section, and she'll send out a Zoom invite to anyone that wants to participate in that. I think that's all the announcements I have. Let me see. Thank yous. I want to thank Avalon 9 for being here today. What a treat. What a treat to sit and enjoy your music in the front yard. And I want to thank Joe, who's behind the camera and always makes everything happen and lends all his talents and skills to this, for which I'm so grateful. I want to thank all of you for joining in. We are always so delighted when we see who joined us afterwards. As I get a chance to look through the comments, it's such a treat to know that we've been able to connect during this time. And we'll even thank our canine acolytes who were escorted into the house a little bit ago because of their excessive enthusiasm. What do they call it in football? Excessive celebration? Excessive celebration. It was a little much, so they had to be escorted within. But they're always a pleasure to have on hand too. So lots of gratitude all around. And we're going to be grateful, going to have a closing song, and then we'll do the prayer for protection together. But this is one of my favorites. I think it's a John Denver song. Is that right? No.
Guy Clark.
Guy Clark wrote it.
Guy Clark wrote the song. It's about homegrown tomatoes that we are really going to be soaking up before too long here.
Got the tomato?
I got my tomato.
All right.
Tomatoes.
It looks like a hothouse tomato though. There's nothing in the world that I like better than making me a sandwich out of homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning, out in the garden, pick you a ripe one, don't get a hard one.
Plant 'em in the springtime, eat 'em in the summer, or winter without 'em. A culinary bummer, I forget all about the sweating and the digging every time I go out and pick me a big one. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? There's only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
If you're feeling droopy, one thing is sure, ain't nothing on a homegrown tomato won't kill.
You can put 'em in a salad, put 'em in a stew.
And you can make your very own tomato juice.
You can eat 'em with gravy.
Eggs.
Eat 'em with gravy.
You can eat 'em with beans,
Pinto or navy. Put 'em on the side, put 'em on the middle.
put your homegrown tomatoes on a hot cake
Griddle, homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? There's only two things that money can't buy, and that's what? True love and homegrown tomatoes. Probably another 4, 5, 6 weeks away, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that yummy BLT.
BLT, TBL. Tomatoes first. Yeah, that's right. If I could change this life I lead, I'd be Johnny Tomato Seed. I know what this country needs. Homegrown tomatoes in every yard you see.
Well, when I die, don't you bury me in a plot in a cemetery. No, out in the garden would be much better, where I could be pushing up
Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? There's only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? There's only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
Yeah, nice. I love that song. All right. Well, let's say the prayer for protection together, as we always do to close. You all know it, so let's just say it together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you all for joining us. Blessings on your week. We'll see you again next week. We'll all be joining in to see Eddie next week.
Yes.